Go for it.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah, everybody out there in Hosehead land. What's going on? This is a very special occasion. And if you don't know who we are by now, man, we are Strange Brew Podcast. And I am Tomcat, a.k.a. Tom Thompson.
And I am not wearing pants.
You're not wearing pants?
And I'm the creature that your father left your mother for.
Oh.
Oh man, that bong.
Like on the Halloween live special when Aaron stood up and he really wasn't wearing any pants.
No, I'm actually not wearing pants.
As we've said before, I think I said the story that my buddy Mitch was like, because you're always going live and you're always doing podcasts. He's like, you should just wear a really tight thong and then go to the washroom and then fucking just turn at the camera and like just don't act like you don't even notice it. I was like, that would be kind of funny. You're not
just
gonna
get up and be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
I don't even know what's going on."
But yeah, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Strange Brew Podcast. This is a special one with a
we got a good one for you guys
guest.
today.
Very special guest.
Real good.
We're talking to Tommy Chong,
The one and only, the magnificent, the maestro himself. The reason that we're all a bunch of stone degenerates.
Yes,
Tommy fucking Chong.
Tommy Chong. It was a really interesting conversation.
Cheers to you, buddy.
And you know what? Like, we just smoked up a couple bong hits. We're just introing the episode essentially and telling you guys, hey, this is pretty exciting. And the crazy thing is, we actually have them booked for another date in the future. So that should be pretty interesting. Obviously, hold on for that one. Buckle in, because this is this is an entertaining episode, to say the least. It was a great opportunity to talk to someone that I think me and Anton, have both been watching and influenced by since we were pretty young. Because
I mean, most of my life, I've known who Chong was for forever.
Yeah, and I watched Cheech and Chong. It was like one of the first like movies, like probably the third time I got stoned. Buddy's like, oh, we gotta throw on Cheech and Chong and watch it. So obviously he's near and dear to our hearts. So without further ado, you could say, here's our interview with Tommy Chong. Oh shit. He's running late. He'll be at the call shortly. Oh, I'm fucking excited.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I put a big thank you. Everyone left. We had 4 people in this match.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, that means that I should bring up StreamYards and I can send it to my Twitch as well.
Can you do that? Okay, I could do that. Yeah, so Aaron's gonna have his, which is pretty cool. So if you can get me your, I think it's called the RPM.
Yeah, when you mentioned what it was, I was like, oh yeah, I know where to get that.
Okay, yeah, and the stream key. And then essentially it'll be pretty cool because then when we all go live, it will go to both of our Twitches, it will go to both of me and his YouTubes, and it will go to fucking Facebook, which might bring in some people.
Right.
From the Hoseheads page and shit like that. So that's pretty exciting. Here, I'm gonna hit record again. Oh shit, there he is.
I'm here.
What's going on, man?
Shit. What is up, man?
I'm here at a very famous actor's house in Malibu. So
that's awesome.
That's so cool.
And he's very kind enough to let me use this nice office and beautiful. Oh man, I'm in Malibu overlooking the peasants.
That's awesome. We are big fans.
You enjoying your fiefdom out there, just like, yes, the masses, the huddled masses.
Yes. The Malibu masses. Oh, it's great. Oh, man. Beautiful.
Yeah,
What's
man.
up?
What's going on?
Who am I talking to?
We actually, I'm Tomcat, and this is Anton, and we go by Strange Brew Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Strange Brew, like the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because
Exactly.
I'm Canadian.
Oh, you're all Canadian?
No,
Well, he's
He's
Canadian.
from Buffalo.
So I'm honorary Canadian, I guess.
From Buffalo?
Yeah, but yes, sir.
Oh, that's Southern Canadian.
That's what we tell everybody. Yeah, we're Southern Ontario, so.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you're from Ontario?
Yeah, I'm from Ontario, and in our podcast, we do everything strange and unusual, from everything from true crime to paranormal and UFOs.
Oh, good. Sounds like a typical Canadian.
Yes, and we smoke a lot of weed while we record, also.
Well, yeah, well, you know what it is. It's that being, those cold winters. You know.
Hey, you
You
gotta do
stay
something.
strange.
Yeah, I grew up in Alberta, Calgary, Alberta,
Yeah,
and everybody I grew up with, they were so shocked that I ended up a comedian, because I don't think I said 3 words to anybody. Well, you never do in Canada.
especially out there, just in the middle of nowhere, usually.
Well, it's either too cold to talk, or you ain't got much to say, or
It's
you
very
don't know
true.
you don't want to get in a fight.
Yeah, especially in some parts, even on Ontario, going closer to Toronto. Yeah, no thanks.
It's the same thing. Yeah, the same thing. And then if you're around any natives, then you really got to be cool.
Yes, got to be chill and calm, and make sure you smoke your herb and your peyote.
All of that. Yeah. Growing up in Canada, man, that was a trip. You talk about racism, man. I don't believe how much that you get used to. Like down in the States, everybody's crying about this and crying about that.
Yeah,
In fact, when I first moved down to LA, to Venice Beach, you know, I had long hair. Me and my lady we were full on hippies, and so we're in the little hippie commune in a store, and the guy says to me, "Hey, you got any spare change, man?" And I jiggled my pocket. I said, "Yeah," and just kept walking. And he said, "Oh, you dog ass son of a bitch," you know. And so
people are always surprised when they come to
yeah,
Canada.
yeah, but I'm Canadian, and I grew up playing hockey, and so when he called me that name, I had to go back and give him a shot in the mouth,
Yeah, absolutely.
People are always surprised how rude Canadians can be.
And I broke his beads.
Oh shit!
Of course, he was wearing
His
beads.
and everybody, oh, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. And then I realized, oh, they don't punch right away out up here.
That's really funny.
Because
man.
that's the most important thing about being Canadian, growing up, is that if you insult anybody, make sure you stay away arm's length away from whoever you're talking to. Because you never know,
Yeah, people
Oh,
always
yeah.
call us pussies and stuff like that, but there's some hardcore Canadians out there.
Was that the new Canadian motto? Welcome to Canada. We swing first.
That's it. That's why the hockey players, I met all the hockey players, the Canadian hockey players, man, they're so much fun, because we all grow up the same way, tough as nails. There's no
Yeah,
no
now they're
getting
trying
around
to take that away from hockey.
Oh yeah, dude. The sheer lack of fights in hockey nowadays are just.
Yeah, well, they don't get paid to get hurt. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean that's what it is. But yeah, yeah, my whole life. Well, my brother. I had an older brother. He passed away, but he was 3 years older than me, and he was tough as nails because he had to do all his fighting and fighting for me too. Because I was definitely not a fighter. I was more. I could fight if I had to. One of
Okay.
those things, because when you grow up with a brother that's older than you, you learn how to take a punch. You learn how to stay away from the punches.
Yeah.
and you learn how to throw a punch. because if I got in a fight and if I didn't do good enough, my brother would beat the shit out of me.
Oh shit!
There you go. Yeah, that's tough love. That is tough love.
But I got to tell you this one story about my brother, man. It's so funny because as we got older, I ended up going down to L.A. and becoming a comedian and an actor and all that. And he stayed up in Canada in Vancouver Island, and and he did various odd jobs, but he lived on Vancouver Island, and so he got a job as a chef, in
I
a
did that.
restaurant, in a restaurant. So he gets in an argument, or he gets in some kind of argument with. They didn't know his background, and so this big ass kid, he was about 6'3", and he was a boxer. And so he starts mouthing off to my brother. My brother says, "Well, let's take it outside." And the guy said, "Hey, listen, I get, I'm a boxer. I'm a licensed boxer. And my brother says, "Well, let's put on the gloves." And the guy goes, "Oh well, okay. I'll meet you Sunday. We'll do it Sunday." So
I
my
never
brother,
showed up.
no, he showed up.
Oh,
And this bodybuilder friend of mine, of my brother's too, he took pictures of it, and the pictures are really funny. It shows my brother and him putting on the gloves. It shows them squaring off, and then it shows my brother throwing a left hook. And then it shows the guy with his feet. He's knocked out. His feet are sticking up in the air, and and my brother's taking off his gloves with his teeth. You know that look?
oh shit!
Yeah. That's funny.
Classic picture. The guy was at least 6'3", at least. Huge guy. But my brother's he had a left hook, man, that would just, it ruined a lot of people's night.
Lumberjack
God
punch.
damn!
Yeah, no, he was fine. Well, he was, in Canada. Remember, I'll meet you after school. Remember that?
Yeah,
one?
I'll meet you at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I'll meet you at school. Okay. With us, it was in the tower. There was a water tower. In the tower. Okay, you be there, and you had to
That's
be
funny.
there. And then everybody, the whole day, they're saying, "Oh, you're going to get your ass whipped, man. You know who you're doing." I miss Canada, man. I miss that part.
Yeah,
How's Malibu
Canada's
treating you,
different.
man?
Yeah, how's it treating you?
What, LA?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Shit. I've got it made, man. Can you imagine? I'm famous. I'm rich. I got a gorgeous wife.
I mean, you're an absolute legend, man.
You are a
And,
legend. Yes.
and then we get locked down because of the pandemic. That means I don't have to tour. I don't have to go on the road. I
You can
can
just
sit at
chill out.
home. All I do all day is either make pipes or test them.
That's
Hell
sick.
yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So we do have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
I've been using psychedelics, specifically mushrooms, to change my mental health, and it's actually helped me a lot. I microdose and I take higher doses to go on certain journeys, and I'd love to know your thoughts about using it for a mental health thing. Because in Canada, it's becoming a big thing. They've opened 2 stores now. One's in Vancouver, I think, and now they just opened the first one in Toronto, where people can actually purchase psilocybin magic mushrooms for mental health.
Beautiful. It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. Now, you got to remember, your mind is who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And your mind is the only eternal part of you. You will always have that mind for eternity. No matter what happens to your body, your mind and you never get separated.
Yeah.
People call it a soul,
Consciousness.
your consciousness, but that's who you are.
Yeah.
Now, and what you're doing here when you're walking the earth, especially, you're learning. Life is a learning process, and that's why the holy books, especially the Bible, especially Jesus, that's why he gave us guidelines to follow in order to be happy, and that's it. I mean, the teachings, the spiritual teachings are meant for people that are ready to accept them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the other ones, the people that are going through all sorts of things, mental health is a good one, is they're going through a learning process.
Yeah.
And so there's no one size fits all kind of thing.
No.
But what Jesus did, and what the spiritual leaders try to teach you to do, is to teach you how to get a control of that mind that is you. You see, and once you get control of that mind, and that's where psilocybin and the mushrooms and all that stuff, it helps you, because it promotes that awareness that you can only get from a substance,
Yeah.
And so for some people, now I took acid with the piano player that I was with, Bernie and I took acid at the same time. And now Bernie had a bad trip. He kept looking in the mirror and freaking out.
It is scary looking. Not everyone can handle it.
I had a beautiful trip, because I was already on the God awareness trip. I've been on one all my life.
Okay.
And so I went outside. I had to go outside, and I sat under a cherry tree, and I just, oh man, I was just one with the earth, with
beautiful.
it was beautiful, and the birds and everything was gorgeous.
All connected.
Bernie had the worst trip. I had the best trip. And then
Dude,
I'll tell you another thing too, is that you got to be careful, because I had a really beautiful, I still have a beautiful friend, and we were just friends, and we were neighbors, but we were just friends. She was a very beautiful friend, very young, and we took acid together. And I
got down and dirty.
Needless to say, well, we got an older daughter, and we've been together for well over 50 years.
Hell yeah, man! I was gonna say that's your current wife, Shelby, right?
Yeah.
That's Shelby. Yep.
Yeah. I like to take psychedelics with my fiance too.
Yeah. You'll be there.
Connect.
You'll be, as long as you do it together.
Yeah.
And chances are you'll be together forever.
We'll do those grounding trips like you were talking about, where you just have that moment of the awareness of yourself connected with all things, are really just the most beautiful one that you can have, I feel like.
Yeah, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
We are evolved beings. We have the ability to do more than just survive, and to create offspring. We as humans, we have the ability to think, and to and to create, and to do all sorts of gorgeous, beautiful things. But if you do the psychedelics, and if you do them with the right thing in mind, I've had other friends, they like the high. like Mike Tyson, the boxer.
Yeah.
He's got a thing where he's got this toad, about the toad.
Oh yeah, the toad venom. Yep.
Yeah.
There's some psychedelics are crazy.
He's into the thrill of the high,
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, he's also evolving in other ways, like he's not as angry. And,
no, that's what I found.
Yeah. He seems so much more chill than he was back in the day. Like, and I'm assuming that the psychedelics and his entry into weed more than anything has helped him tremendously to face those.
Well, can you imagine what he did for a living?
Yeah, exactly.
People.
Can you imagine
getting
in the ring with the toughest people on the planet?
Absolutely.
And schooling them
all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then taking, I don't care who you are, man. You get hit by any of those guys once.
We'd
remember that. But can you imagine going in there and spending an hour getting beat like that? And then you luck out and you hit a guy and you knock him out.
Dude, even the anxiety before that, like having to remember and know that for the months leading up to it, that's what you're training for. Is you're like, I'm gonna go get the shit kicked out of me for an hour. Like, I'm good.
So true.
Yeah, yeah. And those guys, man, it was very tough on them. But now, and Sugar Ray Leonard, he's another close friend of mine that we hang out together, and we
Oh
have
yeah.
so much fun. Sugar Ray's funny because like all pro boxers, especially like that, they got reputations.
Oh yeah.
And so so if there's a drunk idiot around, they'll find Sugar Ray in a minute. Hey, hey, you don't look so tough, man.
And they get their ass laid
Get
out.
those beer balls and end up some.
No, the professional boxers, they can't fight anybody. The last thing they want to do is hurt anybody.
True, yeah.
It's a
career.
well, everything. You get sued,
Yeah.
you go to jail,
makes
all
sense,
that stuff. Yeah. And so Sugar Ray always runs and hides.
I feel like those are the kind of dudes that are just like, I'm gonna back down. You're too tough for me, buddy. And it's like, I'm not going to prison for killing you right now. Is what's not happening.
That's what it is. That's basically what it is.
Because I've noticed that too with psychedelics and using mushrooms is like I was able to be more calm, and I've like took down walls of like trauma that I had when I was a kid. Like it does wonders for people who can handle it.
Sure. No, you get all kinds of, and it's what you're finding out with psychedelics is that all your traumas are self-induced.
Yeah. 100%.
It's all in your brain. The fears and the things. That's why if you can combine the psychedelics with some kind of spiritual guidance,
meditation, or
shamanism and stuff.
Learning, reading. There's a book. If you guys want to remember this or write it down, his name is Joel S. Goldsmith.
Okay.
Goldsmith. Joel S. Goldsmith.
Got it.
And now he's a Jewish guy that really was raised Christian, and he became a Mason. The Mason Lodge. But he became a Freemason, and he didn't write books, but he had these ladies follow him around with a tape recorder, and he would connect with the spiritual world, and then he would talk, and he give these talks. And there's many books out there. Infinite Way is one of his books. The Life and Times of Joel Goldsmith is another good book. The Master Speaks is the one that I've been hanging on to. I've been reading. And by the way, I'll give you another little tip if you got family. I was sick a while back. I had cancer.
Yeah,
and
we remember.
And I couldn't read, so I had my daughters, Radon and Robbie, read to me.
Oh, okay.
And it changed. Not only helped me, but it
probably helped them.
It changed their lives. It changed them. And
connected to you.
Yeah, we're all together. So if you get the books, and if you got someone that you want to turn on, a wife or a girlfriend or someone, have them read the books to you. And oh man, it's so full of the kind of information you should have if you're going to do any kind of like mind expanding
I'm a big fan of Alan Watts. I like Alan Watts a lot because his talks really get me into it. I listen to him usually when I'm microdosing or doing higher doses. It helps me get in that zone.
Yep.
Yeah, Watts is fantastic. And I mean, the same thing with Leary's principles on, set and setting for psychedelics.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew Tim really well too.
That's awesome.
We hung together.
He was in Still Smoking or Nice Dreams?
Nice Dreams.
Nice Dreams in the asylum. Yeah, he's a doctor.
Yeah. No, Tim was great. He considered himself a comedian at the end of his life.
Master comedian, yeah.
Yeah, he would do lectures, and we were both on the road, and every once in a while we'd run into each other at the airport. and how's the road treating you, Tom? he was a cool guy. His wife, she lives in LA now, and we see her once in a while. She's not too healthy right now, but Tim was a great guy. And he got pissed off at me one time. Tim got pissed off at me. Because he said, "Haven't you read my books?" And I said, "Well, no, really." And he said, "Oh, this was the insult he threw at me. Oh, you're just like John Lennon.
That's funny.
I said, oh, thank you, Tim.
Oh, shit, man. In my book, you're cooler than John fucking Lennon. So
Yeah.
Oh, John Lennon was a cool guy, man. I met John. Didn't have much to do. I offered him I was at a party and the Beatles, John was there anyway, and all the Stones and all these Harry Nilsson, the whole rock and roll guys were there. And I was looking for a place to get high, I wanted to smoke my joint. So Lou Adler, the host of the party, goes, well, you can use my bedroom. So I went in there and I lit up and I looked down and there's John Lennon sitting on the floor. He wasn't sitting on the bed. He was sitting on the floor. And so I walked over and, hey, John, what's up? Here, want a toke? And he goes, no, thanks. I'm having immigration problems. And so he's not smoking.
Oh, I remember when that was happening.
Yeah.
It was when the FBI was trying to boot him out of the country.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
And so then, just then Rod Stewart walks in and he starts fucking with his hair in the mirror. And so I said, hey, Rod, you want a toke? He goes, oh, no, mate, my throat, I got to be careful. So I thought, oh, no, okay. So I put the joint out and I walked out into the front room or, into the hallway there.
Yeah.
And there's Jack Nicholson, the actor.
Everybody's there. He's probably coked up at the time.
And I'm really stoned. And I just saw a movie that he was in. This was back in the day when he was in the first detail. What was it called? Last Detail or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, he's an army guy. And right away I see Jack and I'm really stoned. I said, Jack, man, the movie, I just saw your movie, man. And that scene where you're combing your hair, that scene went on for like 10 minutes, man.
You picked up on
and you don't have any hair. I said, did you improv that or was that written?
It'd be funny if it was written.
He said, he looked at me like I just shit on a shoe or something. He looked at me, he goes, excuse me, you're in my way.
That's funny. You probably went to wild parties too. I couldn't imagine. Probably everyone you would see, especially like Hollywood, like California parties, and
that was a one and done, really. Cheeks went on the parties. No, we had just signed, and it was almost like a welcome to the crazy world party. No, but after that, that was a once in a lifetime event,
Yeah.
And I've been in other areas, where I met people, that I really admire and they really admired me. Like one time they had a 100-year anniversary for Paramount Pictures. Now that was something else, man. Everybody that shot a movie that was still alive, came for this big, huge picture. And poor Cheech, he missed it because he had to work. He had to do some other thing. And so I'm there by myself representing Cheech and Chong.
That's funny.
And I never got the memo. They told us all to wear like a sports jacket or a suit. And,
oh, man.
What did you wear?
I had a hoodie. And a pot t-shirt. But I'm Tommy Chong, so
it's kind of fit.
So when I walked in, the head of the studio, I forget his name at the time, he saw me and, oh, hey, how are you doing, Tom? And come on. And he walked me through the security because security wasn't going to let me in because it wasn't dressed right.
Oh, man.
And so he walked me in, and then we saw everybody there, man. It was incredible. It was a trip. And Jane Fonda was there, and she was kind of...
That's crazy. Barbarella?
She was giving everybody directions, trying to... they're all actors,
Yeah.
It's tough. We're all used to taking direction, but we're...
There
back.
There you are. There we go.
Hey, he's back.
Did Cheech get through?
Yeah.
Yeah, he joined in. I got a question for you, too. So... We do all like I have a Ouija board behind me. I collect Ouija boards. I like strange and unusual things. I've messed around with a lot of weird things like that, like ghosty things, have my own ghostly experiences. I would like to know if you've ever had any paranormal experiences in your life or ever been in a house that maybe you felt as haunted or gave you weird vibes. Let us know. I'd love to know.
Yeah, a few times. A few times. I'm very. I was going to say psycho. It's more psycho than psychic.
People call
More
me psycho
than,
too.
yeah, more psycho than psychic. But I was, yeah. The only the paranormal experience I had was the one that had me that turned me on to Goldsmith. That the book I'm telling you about.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
I was in New York. Uh, we were, I think we're doing a movie or something, or I don't know, or working. But we were in New York for some reason, and I'm going to the gym. I'm walking to the gym. It's a nice day, and I got my gym bag, and I'm walking down the street, and I hit about, I guess, 50th Street in Broadway, somewhere around there, and next thing I know, I felt something literally stopped me from walking, and then
Weird.
yeah, and like there was an invisible force stopped me, and then I felt my body being turned. I got turned, and I'm facing HarperCollins publishing house, and
So
then
something like you felt something grab you and almost like kind of turn you or some energy.
yeah, energy. It
Oh, damn.
stopped me. It stopped me cold. I was walking. I was
That's
going to the
crazy.
gym. I knew where I was going, and boom. Next thing I know, I stopped. Like, wow, what was that? And then I get turned, and I'm facing HarperCollins publishing. And so then I walked in the door. It's like someone pushed me through the
Something
door.
telling you to go there.
Yeah, it pushed literally. And then it led me over, whatever it was, led me over to a row of books. And then my hand literally, something took my hand and reached in and picked up the autobiography of Joel S. Goldsmith.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
And I went to the cashier and put the. And she says, "Will there be anything else?" I said, "No." I guess I want that book.
Something or something, someone or something led
It
you to that.
directed me, took my hand, and let it put it around that book.
That
It,
is
it was
super
like
cool.
it was in control of my body, and I paid for that book. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember what happened after that. Whether did I go back, because this happened years ago,
Yeah.
and did I go back to the all I remember now is getting into the start reading the book. Just the first page blew me away. When you get those books, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it is crazy. It seemed like it directed you towards that. Where I've had that in life, where it seems like something's pulling me towards a certain type of music or
Yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah, and that's what it is. It's the spirit world directing our and the reason they are is we're accessible. We're
Yeah,
we're manageable. We're on that path.
Okay.
That's what it was. I was on a path anyway. In fact, that's what you do. You ask for wisdom. That
yeah,
was in my book. I said, the only really uh, prayer that really works is when you pray for wisdom,
yeah.
because that's all you really need. And that's what happened. And I once I got the book, I don't think I went to the gym. I think I went home and read the book.
Got
And
you
and if
reading.
I
Just
if
drew you in that
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, and then it literally changed my whole life, because in the book, you read the book, you'll see what I'm talking about. It will it just it gave me all the reasons in the world why we're here.
It's crazy how
Why
some
I'm here.
books can
Incredible, man.
change your perspective. Because I've read books like that that have forever changed my life.
Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of
Because
perspective, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, you have any thoughts on like aliens and stuff like
I
that,
was
with
gonna
all
ask
the
that.
new things being declassified and what have you? Like, do
Oh,
you think
sure.
it ties into the spirituality, or
No,
like?
we know what they are now because we got them. And you know what they are? They're drones. See, all the alien spacecraft, you don't need to be anywhere. We found that out. We're in Mars.
Yeah.
We've been in Mars for years. They
Okay.
got there's a movie coming out where the robot became a thing, became like a person
Because
to
artificial
the scientists.
intelligence.
Yeah, yeah. And so the robot in Mars is shooting all these pictures, roaming around,
Yeah.
and it's still doing. It was only supposed to work for a few months, and it's
Oh yeah, yeah,
what
the rover. Yeah.
yeah, it's 15 years later, and it's still working.
That's great.
So,
So, do you
so
think aliens may be artificial intelligence, maybe from a place that is more evolved than we are?
well, not in that, not no, not really, no, because
So we'd
what
love to
you're
know your
dealing
thoughts.
what no what you're dealing with is time.
Okay.
See, we're that's why when you think about it, and I do a lot of thinking, uh,
Same.
uh, this universe, this vast universe that seems endless universe, in my estimation, is we are the center of that universe. Now, people like to think that there are other beings and other aliens and other worlds, other lives, other Earths. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I think that because there are endless universes. Why would we have to share it with anybody? And so
Hmm.
the
I like that.
probes that are coming in are probably from another universe, and
Hmm.
they found a wormhole or whatever, and they're through there. Now they don't you don't have to be there in person. You send a probe. When you evolve the way we've evolved, we're sending probes now,
Yeah.
Well,
and that's
that
why
that makes sense.
yeah, that's why the war in Russia, we got to remember it's going to be the last war that we see on this planet while we're alive, in a sense that we've evolved to the point now. Think about it.
Hmm.
They got a house on the market now that's totally
Hmm.
green, and that means the toilet thing is green. They got
Hmm.
figured out a way
Oh
to make
yeah,
it green. You won't have to have the infrastructure they got, and when they rebuild the Ukraine, you wait and see. It'll be the most modern city, country, really, on earth,
yeah,
because they have all the technology now. They don't need to do the old-fashioned power lines, that the Russia's hitting now. Now, when they come in there, they'll like Elon Musk. He's got a way for us each house to have its own battery, to have its own power system, you know.
yeah.
And so,
Hmm.
so when the power grid goes out, all of a sudden everything will pop up again. We don't need that old-fashioned power. Like we don't need gasoline. We don't need oil. You
Yeah.
know, we can live without this, and that's the earth itself is alive.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mother
Yes.
Gaia. Mother
Yeah,
Gaia,
that's
as the
right.
indigenous
And,
would
and,
say.
and so when earthlings the greed takes over, then the other forces, the good forces, come in and negate it. You need the opposition.
Yin and Yang, the
Yeah,
balance, like the
No,
Force in
absolutely. Yeah.
Star
you
Wars.
you need that. You need that, and it goes back and forth. Sometimes it'll be the evil that conquers for a while, but then it'll always come back to the good, because
I believe that too.
again, it's biblical. See, God said, first of all, the reason, one of the reasons that everybody, the ignorant, hate the Jews, is because, think about this: the Jews were the first to realize that God is spirit.
Okay.
See,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
up until that point, they were worshiping idols.
Yeah,
The sun or something,
the sun
animate
worship. Yeah,
objects. And then the
Right.
Jews said, no, God is spirit. because they evolved. And once you evolve,
Mm,
and then the Jews start taking care of themselves in a sense. Well, they were slaves at one time.
yeah.
And so they had no legal protection. They had no doctors. They had no,
They were the
uh,
people without a nation for the
yeah,
longest
yeah,
time.
yeah. And so what they did, they had to educate themselves, which they did. And once you get educated, now you got a leg up on everybody, on civilization.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's why the
sure.
Jews controlled everything, in a sense that they first of all they went for the banks, and the money.
Yeah,
And because that's, they learned, and that's why they were so hated, because because they had everything, and these idol worshippers, or the atheist, or the Satan worshippers, had nothing. And the,
yeah,
the thing is about the Satan worshippers, or the people, they like to blame other people for their mistakes. You see, they always look for a scapegoat, and that's what causes wars. And it's
that's true.
usually some guy's greed, and then he tells a lot of lies, and then they misdirect people into the wrong direction. They give them the wrong
Yeah.
direction.
Have you met any
Hmm.
Satanists in Hollywood?
Not. I usually stay away from that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Did
Once
you ever
once
meet Anton LaVey?
I don't think so. No, I don't. Just like when the punk scene hit,
Yeah.
man,
You were out of there.
I
Dude, I mean, Earache My Eye is like so early punk, though. I mean, you
Yeah,
guys could be
that's
credited
true.
with starting some of that
That's
shit,
true. Some of
well,
the
That's
songs you guys did is punk.
one of my
after
go-to karaoke songs, by the way, man, and it always kills.
yeah. No, we were comedians making fun of
Yeah.
the culture.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
well,
For
dude,
sure.
look at Frank Zappa and the "We're Only in It
Yeah.
for the Money" record. Went on to become like a massive psychedelic hit, like,
Yes.
and it was
Yes.
a parody of it.
Well. Look at you talk about spirituality and music. Think of this: the biggest jazz record in history is a record called "Kind of Blue" by Miles Davis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
The biggest seller, and guess what? It was a jam.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
he
beauty of
got every
jazz.
he,
It's
he
all
got
just
everybody he got everybody together. He's I got an idea here. Here we'll jam off this riff, and then we'll jam off that riff, and here's another one. And I just found out later, just recently, that Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd,
mhm.
Mm.
was a huge hit, huge, selling zillions of copies.
Right.
Another rock and roll jam.
Oh,
They
no
made
kidding.
it.
Yeah.
They made it up in the studio.
It
That's
is, it
awesome.
is, yeah, it is crazy because I never
Yeah,
listened to Pink Floyd until I did mushrooms, and then I was like, I understand their music now.
that's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying. You evolved. You
Yeah,
evolved. And the people that bought the records, just like myself, like I never, like right now, I'm waiting to do a documentary about the Allman Brothers.
Oh, no
that's
kidding.
awesome.
That's
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
fantastic.
yeah. Well, they we had opened for them one time, and so James Keach, Stacy Keach's brother,
Yeah.
he's producing this documentary. So I'm in Malibu now, and we're going to talk about the Allman Brothers.
That's
But
awesome.
I knew who they were. I heard about them and everything else, but I never knew their music because we were so busy doing our own music. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
you have
and
the
and
time
this
to take.
it's the same thing as the Grateful Dead. I never got into the Grateful Dead because I was busy on stage the same time they were.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. But when you look at the music, that's all God inspired music. It wasn't written, it wasn't planned. They sit there and they got the right people together, and they let the Spirit take over, and the
Yeah,
Spirit takes over, and that's where you get the genius writings.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people
A lot
like
of-
this, but I always say everything happens for a reason. I
Yeah.
really truly believe that everything happens for a reason. My co-host is laughing at me, but that's
No, I'm laughing at you because you don't believe in coincidences thing. I
No, I
understand that
don't.
everything happens for a reason, but you're very much a there's no such thing. It's like, nah.
Well, that pisses my son off too. He hates it. Oh, yeah, well, everything happens. No, well, I don't want to hear that shit. But everybody's learning.
No,
Oh, I
yeah.
agree,
you're
absolutely, yeah.
The world
And
is
that's-
changing.
Oh, it always changes.
Yeah.
The I Ching, the Book of Changes says
Yeah.
the only constant in the universe is change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the only
That's a
constant.
great
That's the
quote.
only thing that changes. No, as far as UFOs go, you always got to remember these
Yeah.
are people that are way more evolved than we are.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I doubt if you meet any. I think I really believe that how divine we are. I really
Yeah.
believe that, and we are the chosen people. You talk about being chosen. Of all the creatures on earth, they were the creatures on earth were here like gardeners. They
Taking
would
care of the
eat.
planet. Yeah.
They were taking care of the planet. Like the trees couldn't grow unless they had somebody eating the leaves.
Yeah.
know?
Everything is connected. And that's why doing
That's right.
psychedelics, you like find that out. You can see energies and stuff like that. It blows my mind.
Yeah,
That's right. Go ahead.
Oh, I would say that was definitely like my most profound takeaway from my time with psychedelics as well, was just that it's all one. Like there is no other. It's just this.
That's right. That's right. Everything you need, you have.
Yes.
You have it all. Now I'm in the process, of getting older, and as a result, you lose abilities that you once had when you were a kid, or when you were a young man, or even a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
lose it for a reason. For a reason. And the reason is that eventually, like old people do, they just end up in a chair. I'm laughing. The reason, I was like Bob Hope. He lived to be 106 years old or something, and they called up Dick Gregory, the black comedian.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and they said, want to talk about Bob Hope died. What's your feelings? And Dick Gregory says, I thought he was already dead.
That's funny. Aren't you a little afraid of the AI technology? Like, Elon Musk is developing some robots and stuff like that, and he even warned us about like the AI and how far it could get. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely not. No, because like I told you, I'm spiritual. I'm wrapped up in such a spiritual uh, cloud of protection.
Yeah.
That everything. See, when you read the Bible, it tells you everything. God made everything good, and everything God didn't make was not made. Therefore, everything good on earth is real, and everything that's bad on earth is a mistake.
Okay.
It's not real. See,
Mhm.
so the devil doesn't exist except as an excuse for people that don't know any better. It's an easy answer again, to blame others. You
Yeah.
see, when
Well, the
you
scapegoat. Yeah, that's the whole point of Satan is the
that's
scapegoat. Yeah.
what it's deflecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not me. He did it first. Like little
Yeah.
kids and that.
The devil made me do it.
Well,
Yeah,
what was the
yeah.
old saying? Satan is the best friend the church has ever had. He's kept them in business all these years.
Well, that's why the churches have failed in so many ways.
Yeah.
Think about this. Back in the day when the churches were just beginning, and they were for real. They were the belief in a spiritual being, as
Yeah.
opposed to the Romans who believed in Baal and all these other things. And
Yeah. The
and so what
demonic
the Romans
forces.
found out how powerful Christianity was, they co-opted it, they stole it,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they
yeah.
Oh
and they
yeah.
call it Catholicism.
Hmm.
And then they installed the Pope. The Pope might as well be the Caesar, you know,
Yeah, I
and,
agree.
and,
Well,
and on and on.
Mussolini's the one that granted him the status as a separate nation.
Yeah,
It's the whole reason Vatican City is its own nation is because of
Yeah.
Mussolini, and for some
yeah,
reason they
that's
just
what I
never gave
mean.
it back. You know?
And all they're doing is collecting wealth and
Oh yeah,
and and abusing young boys.
yes,
Yeah.
You know?
We
absolutely.
all know that. It's definitely
Yeah,
happening.
yeah. And so you look on TV and you got lawyers saying that if you've been abused by the Catholic Church, you call this number.
You'll
Well,
get a
that
lump of
that
It
money.
only
really
took
does.
how long? Hundreds of years to hold them accountable for fucking anything.
Fucking everything, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
well, well, that tells you how wrong when you try to organize uh, that kind of religion. Goldsmith, by the way, he talks about it. Now he goes on a great philosophical uh, rant about it,
Hmm.
and he says, "Don't try to make a church out of this." This
Yeah.
knowledge that we give you, he says, if anybody's going to do it, I'll do it. That's what Joe Goldsmith said, but he never did, and he never will, because everybody's on their own.
On their own
Everybody's in it.
path.
Everybody's on their own path, exactly. And when you gather people together like that,
Sometimes they think
even
it's a cult.
well, it becomes that, because what happens, instead of going to the source, which is inside yourself,
I
Hmm.
agree.
you anoint someone else to do it for you.
Yeah.
You
We know
see,
how Jim Jones turned out.
yeah,
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 that's the
and
danger of
and
following a
and
guru for sure.
and Scientology
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Bikrams, if you believe in the hot yoga.
Yeah.
I used to do Bikrams. I used to do
Okay.
Bikrams, and I
Yeah.
and I met him, and he was a great yoga teacher. But then he got the greed took over, and now
And the
he's he,
women usually when it comes to cults.
yeah, yeah, and that's what they do. They go for that pussy, man. You
Yeah.
know.
The most powerful drug in the world, they say.
For you,
Well,
maybe.
yeah. Well, that is the only reason we're on Earth, is to keep having babies. You know, that's our job.
Yeah.
And to repopulate the planet. Why? Because we are eternal beings. Our
Yeah.
souls are.
I believe that.
But we need people to come up and to keep to be gardeners for the earth.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I see
So
the
what?
world shifting and the consciousness shifting for sure.
Yeah, and so there's no reason to be afraid of anything. Nothing. No, what can harm you if you have strong beliefs? Nothing can harm you. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Even death. See, for a lot of people, they have the suicide prevention and that. Okay, I'm not going to argue against it, but I don't feel the least bit sorry for anybody who takes their own life, because it was their choice.
Yeah, I agree. I always say if we choose to come here, we can choose when to leave, so to speak.
That's right.
But things like psychedelics allow people to face death face on, and they're like allowing cancer patients to do it in Canada. And you realize it's like your fear of death is gone, and even
Yeah,
one trip.
yeah,
So,
because
Sweden's been doing that for the last like 5 or 6 years, from if memory serving correctly. But yeah, they've been doing like uh, clinical trials with psilocybin on terminal patients, and they said that
sure.
that's pretty much what's been happening. Is they've just come to that acceptance state of being like, okay, this is
Yeah.
happening. This is nothing to be afraid of. It's this and that. Like
Hey,
I think suicide, mental health's a whole different like can of worms in and of itself. But for the terminal thing, absolutely, and yeah,
well, here's the thing. If you have mental problems, okay, they can be cured. By the way, the Goldsmith book I'm talking about, the guy's a healer,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that's what he spent his rest of his life healing.
Giving
but
back.
but here he tells you, he says, when you heal like prisoners or mental patients,
Mhm.
don't expect any kind of gratitude.
They just turn back normal.
Yeah, because they don't remember when you're nuts. You don't remember.
Okay.
That's I don't remember when I was crazy.
To think
The
about
disassociating almost.
when you get cured of anything. It's like cancer. I got cured of cancer.
Hell
Now,
yeah, man.
Because you used the Rick
I
Simpson oil, didn't you?
yeah, I used CBD, but
Yeah.
I used the Rick Simpson oil,
Yeah.
and I used but it was the CBD injections that helped me
Crazy.
heal faster. I just saw a thing on the news that cracked me up. they tried to. They said marijuana. Uh, Doctors wanted marijuana to. What was it now? Oh, yeah, they said. The reason I'm laughing, man, is that they they did these studies how marijuana made pain worse instead of making it better. It made it
What?
worse.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Now check this out. What they said. They said they found out that people that were addicted to opioids when they smoked pot, it just made everything worse.
It
They
might
could
make you
feel
confront your demons.
the pain more. And I laughed at that because I'm from Vancouver, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a cannabis cafe. There still is a
Yeah.
cannabis cafe at the end of the Junkie Row. Hastings is where all the junkies get their
Yeah.
junk
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you could go there any time of night or day, and there'd be a junkie outside the cannabis cafe puffing on a joint because he's trying to keep it from being sick
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's nauseous. Yeah.
before he waits for his thing. But they couldn't give marijuana any kind of glory for helping that shit.
Well, they know all their
Because
old lies are
Yeah.
starting to die, and the opiates and the pharmaceuticals have taken massive setbacks with everything that's happened recently. So they're going to fire off everything they got to try and stop it. But we all know it's bullshit. We all know what
well,
weed can do for you. We all know, the healing properties of the plant.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is,
Speaking of, do you mind if I spark up?
no, go ahead. What they did, what they did with the opioids, it's fentanyl and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
It's the pharmaceuticals that were making the billions of dollars,
Tons of
and
money.
and now they got a new pill that doesn't have that effect, and it eliminates pain. Now, how
Yeah.
about that? How
Well, the thing
about
is,
that?
I'm sure you would like our logo if you can see it by any means, but our logo is we're
Oh yeah.
inside of a bong and we're getting smoked out of a bong by an alien. An alien
Yeah.
is smoking us out of the bong is our whole logo.
I love it. I love it. No, we have
Thank you.
aliens. We have aliens on Earth now. They're here, and there's all sorts of. It's the real world. The physical world is really
It's
a place.
flimsy.
Well, it's a vacation, really,
Yeah.
from the real world. It's a place. I look at the real world almost like you do a gym. When you go into a gym, the reason you go to a gym is to work out your muscles, okay? And when you work out your muscles, what you're
I
doing
know what
is
that's like.
you're tearing you're tearing the muscles.
To
You're
rebuild
tearing.
them,
Yeah,
yeah.
to rebuild them, yes.
Yeah,
You can do that
okay.
with your mind too.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing on Earth. We're here in a physical state to
Yeah.
learn. And
Yeah.
you only learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
You don't learn.
I, I've
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've
you
heard
don't
that
learn from
like
being. Yeah.
we just get incarnated here essentially to learn lessons, and that's why the meaning of life is essentially that we come to this physical plane to learn lessons so we can go to the next plane to open up our minds more.
No rush. But we'll put your makeup when you're ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll be right there. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of life itself.
Yeah.
And think about this. You don't know what you're going to do in your next life.
No
Absolutely.
idea. I got one more question before, because I know you gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite conspiracy, even if it is just bullshit? I would just, because we talk about conspiracies and all sorts of things. What's your favorite, even if it's dumb, just a fun conspiracy you like?
My fun conspiracy, really, my really, it's my observation.
Yeah.
That Trump was sent to unite the world, and the way, because before Trump, you couldn't tell a Democrat from a Republican.
Yeah,
you really could.
I could see that.
Because they both sort of towed the same line.
Yeah.
Well, Trump came along and he brought out the racism in the one party, and then he brought out the racism actually in all parties. Because
he said some real shit.
Yeah, if you go with Trump, then you're a racist, and that's what's going on now, and that's what the Democrats are now. And so what's going to happen is that Trump, he really sacrificed himself, and he's going to probably end up in. I hope they put him in Guantanamo. And build him a golf course.
Oh my God!
Build him a little putting green, so he can spend the rest of his life trying to learn the game that he got famous with.
Yeah, only if the ball ends up directly in his ass after he's done with the putt.
Because Trump really showed the world what a jerk off, lying shithead really is like.
It really emboldened a lot of the worst people to say the worst shit. It's fucked up, man.
He brought him out. He brought all this out. He brought Kanye out.
We were just talking about that earlier. We were just like that video where Kanye's like, they can't cancel me, and then Adidas is just like, no, fuck you, buddy. We're not dealing with that shit. Yeah, no, Kanye is something else entirely.
Forbes took him up the billionaire list.
That's crazy. He's been saying some wild shit.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, listen.
Let's to end this, I'm gonna hit you from one of your bongs. I'm gonna hit a bowl from one of your bongs.
What were you saying though, Tommy?
Great, man. And let's do this again, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, whenever you got a spot for me, I'll be.
Fuck yeah, we can.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I would absolutely love that.
We would love that. We thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It was an honor.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
Bye bye.